Hi, this is Rona, and I have a layout today for Scraplift Crafternoon. Today we are scraplifting Jennifer, who is Scrap and Cane on Instagram and also on YouTube. I like Jennifer's layout. She scraps boys, and so I have followed her for a while. I like to scrapbook my grandsons as well, and so I am going to be scrapbooking Bryson, who is the middle boy. And I also have this family picture. So what I decided I wanted to do, Jennifer scraps 8.5 by 11 or 11 by 8.5. Sometimes she does the opposite orientation when she's she's scrapbooking. So I'm going to use the Pretty Little Studio. I showed you the two layouts the layouts that I'm working on today are going to be in the middle of. So it was the same photo shoot. This one that I'm going to be using for my scrap lift today is just Bryson by himself. She had a picture of her son just by himself. She did a sports one, and I initially thought that's the route that I would go, but I decided I wanted to do an 8 by 8 or a smaller size and mix it in the one of the kids' books. And I saw that these pictures still needed to be done. I really love these pictures, but they're a little dark. So you saw me auditioning the blue paper because he's wearing blue, but it just really made the photo look dark. But I am going to get some blue in here, so you'll see that here in a minute. But anyway, I wanted to do a smaller size than my normal 12 by 12, and I thought this would be perfect to put these in between the two main photos or the two main layouts for this, just for something different. I don't do that often. So I had the kind of, I don't know, hers kind of looks like a pie chart with different colors, and I had that piece of paper that would have worked to do that. But then I decided to go a different route just to do something different. I am going to tuck all these tags in kind of in the same way that she had the pie pieces under her photo. And I'm liking how that looks. So I'm going to play around with it here for a little bit and try and decide. I have one more small tag I was trying to get in there, and I like that. Kind of gives me all the different colors that I had used on the previous layout that'll be, on each side of it. And since it is the same photo shoot, I want them to coordinate but not, be too matchy-matchy. So I like how these tags are going to work with the layout that's next to it. So I decided to map the entire thing in blue, and that way I'm getting in the blue that I wanted to have in here because he is dressed in blue. So I just took the little ledger paper and I'm going to cut it down just a little bit so I can have that frame around it with the dark blue there. I sometimes will get a piece of paper, but since I'm doing an 8 by 8, I decided not to. So I like that. I did offset it. So the mat is going to cover over part of the blue, and I kind of like half the distance of the blue in that corner. And I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of foam tape. This is not the 1mm that I normally use. This is actually a 2mm. I like to do that on my tags. So it's going to tuck under and be flat under the picture, and then just right at the top where the twine's going to go is just going to have a little bit popped up. Gives it some dimension, and I like how that works out when I'm doing tags. So that's what I usually do. So I have all these colors that match the collection. I know I want to get blue in here because, again, he's wearing blue. So I pull out blue, brown, green, and that gold that has the shimmer to it. It's not really, it's like a metallic thread or a little metallic speckles in there. My newfound favorite thread. And if you watch me, if you watch me in the future here, you're going to find out that I just ordered every single color that they have. I found it on Amazon, and I just bought the whole collection. It wasn't that much. It was like $35 for all of them, and, so that worked out to be a good deal compared to what I was paying for it just at Michael's. I thought I wanted all those colors, and I changed my mind. I don't like it. So I'm gonna take out the dark green, and I'm gonna try again. And I'm thinking, "Oh, maybe I should just put more blue with the other 2 colors," but I don't. I just have the 3 strands. So now I have the gold and the brown and the blue. So I'm gonna try that. I had some that were all the same length, so I just snipped those off. I like the thread going through all of the different tags like this. I feel like it just ties everything together. Um, when it's just going all the way around, it kinda makes it look like it has some movement, like her layout has movement because it's it's a circle, or it's a half circle actually, but and my half circle here is tags, and it doesn't have the same movement that she had achieved with hers, and so I thought, "Well, I'm going to use the thread, and it would give it that movement that it needed." So, I'm still frustrated, and so I go off screen, and I decide, "Yep, I just want the plain blue." So I accidentally did that off camera, but you already saw me thread it through there twice, so you really didn't need to see it again. I just ended up taking the other 2 off, doing the plain blue, getting it wound in there how I wanted it, and now I'm taking the backing off of the foam tape just to stick it down. I never stick it down, until I have my thread or twine or whatever I'm using, ribbon, um, completely done because it will hold it in place. It will hold the twine in place as well, and you can't, move it around as easily. So now I've made my final decision. I'm gonna go ahead and decide on this and then start gluing it down with some Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. Um, I do like to have my twine stuck down. I want it to look like it's just kind of free and whimsical, but I always stick it down or almost always stick it down. I went around that one tag 3 times with 3 layers of thread just for something different, and then I did the little twirl up here at the top. I'm gonna tuck it down or tack it down in a couple of places and then let it go off the edge so it's starting off the edge and then it's finishing off the edge, and I really like how that looks. So now I am going to add in just a few embellishments. She had added, it looked like some mixed media on each of the pie pieces and then also layered over it with some stars. That looked awesome. My tags already have, a lot of great print, so I don't need to add the mixed media or, you know, a ton of embellishing over top of it. So I'm going to choose just a few things. I have a fox, a squirrel, or chipmunk or something. Yeah. And then a bird. And I do end up covering up the printed bird on the tag that I just love, that little cute birdie that's in that one pattern, but I couldn't get the bird to work anywhere else, so that's where it ended up being. I'm going to add my title that says "Captured this moment with you." It's just a sticker. I use part of a scallop border, and then I add the sticker right over top of it. I chose my title in a different place than Jennifer had hers, but that is where I had some just kind of blank space in the photo, and I didn't want to cover up the bottom like she had on hers because it just wasn't going to work for my photo. So I'm going to get my flowers. They are cork. They are also Pretty Little Studio, but they are from an older collection. They were gifted to me, and I love them. I don't usually do a ton of flowers on the boys' pages, but these are cork, and it doesn't bother me to have these on his layout, and I don't think it would bother him either. And that's pretty much it. I am going to add a little bit more stitching. I have to get this, stitching with the gold metallic thread in here. So I'm going to do just a tiny bit of stitching, The layout that's next to it had some stitching as well, and I wanted to add that. I thought I was going to add a bunch of these little hearts, but again, because there's so much pattern, I just didn't need them. I was going to use the hearts instead of stars, but like I said, there's too many patterns going, and the hearts are just going to get lost, so I'm not going to do that. And I don't want to cover up all the pretty patterns anyway. So this is how it's going to be in the book, and Jennifer had a little strip on the side, and because I have to add this 8x8 to a 12x12 album, the holes are not going to line up. And I am going to make that work for me by adding this strip of paper over on the side. I'm just going to add some red line tape straight down to the page protector, and then this piece of paper is going to be on the outside of the page protector. And the hardest part about red line tape is trying to get the backing off, but I got it. Then on the other side, I also did that page, but I just didn't film it. But that way you can poke your holes where they need to be. So I'm going to line it up to the other layout, and then it's already in the page protector, and then just poke my hole. And that way it can flip open, and it's going to work out perfectly. So here's where I'm just going to add a few little stitches. I poke my holes parallel, and then I'm going to make some X's here. I always make 3 or 5. Most of the time I do 5. And to do that, 6. You do 6 holes, parallel, and then just make your X's. I always go in the same direction and do the same stitch first. So for example, I will start in the bottom left hole for the 4 where the X is going to be, and then go up to the top right, then do the other one over it. But every single time I do the same stitch first, and that way they look uniform, because the same, the stitch at the bottom is always going the same direction. Does that make sense? So it's the same way all the way across. So all of my bottom rights to upper left is always the top stitch. So this will be on the Pretty Little Studio blog as well today. So I will have links to all of the products that are still available on that blog post, and you can see everyone else who's playing along with Scraplift Crafternoon. And don't forget to check out Jennifer as well. Thank you so much, and we will see you again very soon. Bye-bye.